Hey, it's Lea, and today we're going to do some healing, some really good healing of your solar plexus chakra, which is where our power is. It's where your real personality is, not the false personality that we put on to survive. I got an interesting comment, and thank you for everybody commenting. If you're new here, thank you for stopping by. Please subscribe. If you're old here, thank you for stopping by. Old, young, whatever you want to call it. Please comment, like, share, so that we can keep raising the vibration together. The comment that I received was, well, you know, Lea, you have this beautiful balcony view, you have access to healthcare, ability to shoot something on your phone or computer or whatever, live stream. You also have makeup, you have access to everything. So that's why you have this source energy, but some people don't have access to all those things. So how can you create an abundant life when you don't have access to these things? And I thought that was a great question. So if that was you, thank you so much for commenting. And I was already going to address this because this was on my heart a lot yesterday. So I find it very serendipitous when I get comments that are right in alignment with exactly what I was thinking, or when I got an intuitive hit. This happens to me all the time when I teach my classes as well. I teach classes on Zoom, one-on-one coaching, acting classes, how to read behavior. It's really coming into who and what you really are. Every time I'll have an intuitive hit to do something, and then a student will ask that very question. And then a student's having that same problem, or I have the problem. So that's why this energy stuff is very, very real. And that's why I wanted to create this channel, because so many people have helped me in my time of struggle when I didn't have this beautiful view. I did not come from money. My upbringing is very different than many people. We all have a unique situation. I wasn't raised in filth or on the street or anything like that. But it was always feast or famine. And then when I was in a position to take care of myself as an adult, it was feast or famine, because that's what I had learned. And the famine parts of my life have been very difficult. I moved to Los Angeles right after college. I didn't know anybody there. I had like $200 in my bank, very expensive rent. I couldn't get a job to save my life with a college degree. I could not get a babysitting job. I could not get a restaurant job. I remember I applied at 35 babysitting jobs before I got hired somewhere. 35. I had never gone through the ringer like that before. It was a real blow to my ego. I'd worked with so many kids my whole life. I had applied at 60 restaurants in Los Angeles before getting hired somewhere. I had a college degree in journalism. I applied to be a page at NBC, which I thought I would have in the bag. You have to have a journalism degree to seat people. That's what a page is basically a paid intern at NBC. I put together this beautiful package for them. It was doing all this stuff, like even put peacock feathers in there. I went above and beyond. Maybe they thought that was a little weird in hindsight, but I would go above and beyond to get hired. Didn't get hired. To get a minimum wage job with a college degree. And here I was in Los Angeles with expensive rent and a car payment and all these things. So what happened? My car got repossessed. I would sometimes eat saltine crackers for dinner. I would eat ramen noodles. The dollar store was my favorite place to shop because it was all I could afford. I would sometimes fast, not because I wanted to, but because I had nothing to eat. One time I got so shaky and hungry that a friend noticed. I was so proud. I didn't want to ever say anything because I didn't want to be a victim. And so I wouldn't share often, like how hungry I was at many times, even when I finally got jobs. because I wanted to keep all that money for my rent and my bills. Didn't have health care. I would try to go into, I remember going in for a checkup, trying to get a free checkup at Planned Parenthood because I had gotten sick, and I got completely ridiculed because of the color of my skin, believe it or not, because they thought I was trying to cheat the system or something when I had zero money and was really sick. There was a lot that has happened. A lot has happened in my life that has been very challenging. I lived in a studio apartment that I could not afford. It was very, very expensive in Los Angeles, and was hungry. There was a gas leak in there. I'd have to leave the door open so that the gas wouldn't basically asphyxiate me. And you say, well, why wouldn't you complain to the landlord? Why don't you do this and that? When your self-esteem is so low and you're operating in a lack and limitation mindset, the way that I was, it's hard to even stand up for yourself. It's just enough to barely go to work. It's just enough barely to get through the day sometimes because it can be so depressing. I had a neighbor underneath me who'd burp all day long. All I could hear was him cracking open cans of beers. That was my like symphony in the background. That and people picking through the garbage cans that were right outside my window. My balcony then overlooked a dumpster, an alleyway and a dumpster. So I would witness cars being stolen. I would witness fights in the alley. That's how I had to get home, by the way, too. So I had to really practice my street smarts. And then in the mornings early, when I would hear people digging through to get cans, I would pretend that that was my private chef making me breakfast. So I did have a little bit of awareness where I could visualize. And then the more I went into visualization, meditation, yoga, the more I began to expand my consciousness and create better and better and better. And it was people on YouTube and things that really helped me, because there was a time I couldn't afford therapy. I couldn't afford anything, but I had a computer. So I would listen to things. I became hungry for information. I would go to the library and check out books. The library is free. As you know, the library is free. You can, if you don't even have ID, so you can't check out a book, you can go sit in there. You can stay in a library all day long. The biggest resource center on the planet for free. It's amazing. Libraries are beautiful. So if you have a working brain, meaning that you don't have a mental illness that's keeping you from reading, writing, anything like that, take advantage of what's working for you. Go to the library, use the tools that you have. Sometimes we think that we don't have all these things. You know, I didn't start a YouTube channel for a long time because I thought I had to have all these cameras and all this stuff. I'm using my phone. If you have a phone, you have resource to so much. So the thing that began to start helping me was to look at what I do have. And I encourage you to look at what you do have. What is working for you? If you're watching this video, that's working for you. You're either looking at this on your phone, a computer, a TV, or you're at the library looking at it, but somehow you were able to figure out enough abundance to have this experience. Just expand, expand, expand your consciousness. And I know it sounds like that's wishful thinking, but that's not really true. What about somebody really down in the dumps? Look, there are countless stories. That's something beautiful to research at the library. There are countless stories of people who were homeless, living on the street, and then created greatness. Jewel was living on the street. She started playing her guitar. Everybody's born with some sort of talent. And then she ended up getting signed by a record label. What in the world? From living on the street to that? There are beautiful speakers that have no arms or legs. That's a huge disadvantage in many ways. And they've created multiple people like that. And they've created these enormous lives. Public speaking, there's always something working on your behalf. So the first thing to really look at is that limiting belief within yourself that says, I'm not worthy of having this much abundance. That was a really hard pill for me to swallow. Why in the world would I create this? That's what I would think. Why would I do this to myself? That's painful. And the more I began to uncover, the more I began to look at it, I started to realize, because from a young age, as an empath, I began to, being an empath, you learn that behavior because something is unsafe. It's an unsafe situation. And so you learn to cope by putting other people's needs ahead of yours, which can be very confusing, right? Because we're taught that you should take care of others before you. But if that's all you've ever known and you've never put yourself first, it's going to be really hard to succeed. And the thing is that you'll end up so depleted and sick, you won't be able to help you or anybody. So it's really not a selfish thing to put yourself first. It actually helps people, but that took me a long time to get. I thought that was selfish. I would feel guilty. So the epiphany that I had, again, very serendipitous, because it came right before I got another comment that said, okay, great. So we all, because they said, well, who has this source energy? I said, everybody does. Everybody does. You were born with it. That's the great news. Nobody is above you. Nobody. Even Elon Musk, the richest man in the world, not above you. Even playing field. You were born with gifts as well. So the real work is to uncover what it is inside of you that says you don't have gifts. What it is inside of you that says you're not worthy of everything that you want. And the minute that you go, yeah, but my circumstance is super special, then you know that you're holding on to that lack and limitation. The minute you want to fight for your limitations, you know that your focus is on the limitation, not the expansion. And whenever you're focused on the limitation, you're going to create more of that. So the other question or comment that I received was, well, what about when your entire environment around you and people around you are very negative? How can you visualize and expand past this paradigm when everybody around you is negative? That's big. Well, first of all, acknowledge yourself for that consciousness. Because that is the first step, is to have awareness. Awareness is the key to transformation. Awareness is key to getting anything that you want in this life. So first, congratulate yourself for having that awareness. That, whoa, this environment, these people, this situation is toxic for my development. A goldfish will only grow to the size of its tank. If you give it a bigger tank, it's going to grow more, right? The same with us. But not just limiting to space. It's people can constrict us. But it's not up to them. It's not their fault. It's up to you. So something that I've chosen to do in this past year, which has not been easy, is I've let go of a lot of relationships, people, places, and things that don't serve my highest and best. And again, that's actually the biggest gift I can give to the other person too, because if it's not serving my highest and best, it's not serving anybody's. Do you get that? So if something is not serving your highest and best, it's also not serving the people around you. So it's not selfish to say, wait, we're not in alignment. This feels negative, and to back off, to let that friendship disappear, to leave that job, to change your environment, to think bigger than the problem. That can be very challenging, yes, because that means you can totally lose all the current friends that you have. You could even lose, I say lose, I don't even like that word really, because you're not losing, you're going to be gaining so much. But you can let go of all those toxic relationships, whether they're friends or family, co-workers. Because the radical acceptance part, and this is key, you have to have radical acceptance if you want to go to the next level. Radical acceptance. So if you're homeless, you have to go, okay, I radically accept the truth that I'm homeless. I don't have a home. Here I am. But again, if you're watching this video, you have something, you have a tool, you were able to figure out how to get to this. Either you have a phone, you have a computer, you're at the library, you're using somebody else's, but you were able to create that much abundance. So radical acceptance for what is. So when that pertains to a person, if somebody's mistreating you, and this has been a hard thing for me to learn because I've been taught, and also I think in my heart, I really want to give people the benefit of the doubt. But you can't. This is why you have to start taking things for face value. Face value. Somebody else can show you something new when they show you something new. It is not your job to give everybody the benefit of the doubt. So if somebody is mistreating you, you have to have radical acceptance and accept that that's who they are. And that is how you'll be treated in that relationship, period. No hope that it's going to change. You have to just accept for how it is right now. Accept totally how it is. This person mistreats me. Every time I'm around them, I feel terrible. Every time I leave their presence, I feel depleted and unmotivated. And you begin to say goodbye to those relationships because you cannot afford it. If you cannot afford healthcare, you cannot, believe me, you cannot afford somebody mistreating you, because that's going to cause more need for you to have healthcare. Do you get that? Do you see the cycle? So when you start eliminating these toxic things from your life, your healthcare bills will go down. If not, you won't even have any. So you're saving money there. And by giving yourself creative freedom to say, okay, I'm going to invest in myself by being around people, places, and things that feel good in my heart. Every time I do that, I'm investing in my emotional bank account. I'm investing in my physical health bank account. I'm investing in my mental, in my spiritual bank account. So you might not see the actual money yet, but you're making an investment. So also to remember that you see what you're losing, but you don't see what you're gaining. It was really hard for me to let go of a lot of friendships in this past year. But every time I would leave the people's presence that we don't have a friendship anymore, I would feel anxious. I would feel sad. I would feel depressed. And as a double parent, the mainstream way of saying that, single mom, right? To me, that's a lack and limitation term. Single, it declares something's wrong, it feels like. Single, like I'm missing an arm or something. No, I'm a double parent. I'm mom and dad. I do both. And when I became mom and dad, I really realized how much I could not afford to be around people, places, and things that deplete my energy. I don't have that energy to give. A lot of people got mad at me. A lot of people disappeared. And that's okay. It begins to make you stronger. So if you're in a negative environment, no, you cannot grow in that environment. So you have to have radical acceptance that says this is not a healthy environment. Either visualizing every day the environment that you want, or actually just boom, uprooting somehow, figuring out how you can move it, change it. You're smart enough, you're strong enough. And anyone who tells you you're not is trying to keep you in lack, debilitated. So the reason I started this channel is to help people, because I was there. I was there eating saltine crackers, shaking, having no health insurance, feeling like a victim, feeling like everyone was out to get me. And then, you know, my car would have a boot on it, or I would have to have it repossessed, or a million other things that would happen that were negative, negative, negative. Then I got cancer. I didn't have any leg up there. So It doesn't matter how much money you have. Yes, you say, well, money causes treatments and all this stuff. Somebody could have the best treatment in the world and not beat cancer. But I read during that time over and over and over stories, positive stories about people healing themselves. Because I knew I didn't have control over all the other stuff. By the way, I went into cancer and I didn't even have health insurance at the time. That was brutal. $30,000 bills. I'm here to tell you, you can make it through. I was not given a leg up. My leg up was given to me by the universe. My leg up was given to me by source, whatever you want to call it, God. That gave me the awareness to go, I don't want this for my life. But what do I want? So begin to notice, are you focused more on what you don't want or what you do want? I'm here to give you tools through meditation, yoga, these talks, because this is what has helped me to change that lack and limitation mindset into one of abundance. I had every reason to fail. As a business owner, as a double parent. But I won't because I can't afford to, nor do I want to. So anytime I slip into that consciousness, I say, whoa, Lea, what do you want? Not what you don't want. Have radical acceptance for what is, instead of trying to change people, places, and things to be what you want. And then you evolve. You can't change anybody else. You evolve by watching videos like this, by meditating, by practicing yoga, by finding any other tools, by exploring what your preferences are. Because if you're in a lack mindset, you've given your power away to somebody. And maybe because it was from the goodness of your heart, because you were actually trying to help people like I was, but at your own expense. And that's of help to nobody. So you might want to look way back into childhood and go, when did I begin this behavior that put my needs on the back burner? And put your needs first, because that helps everybody else. When we're all in our light, we are enlightened and we can inspire. We're in spirit then. And that's where the greatest things happen. I'm telling you, energy is real. And what you focus on grows. Eckhart Tolle is another amazing example. He was homeless. Now he's a world-renowned speaker. There are so many stories like that. Look into stories like that. Don't look into the lack and limitation stories about how it didn't work out. And don't believe the stories from other people or yourself that say it can't work out for you. When you notice that belief, go, wait, what is that belief? Why not me? Who said so? Even with your disability could be your greatest asset. Your disability could inspire other people, because then you triumphantly make it through. It could be a book. If you're homeless, if you have a piece of paper and a pen, you could end up start writing a book. It could be a bestseller. Why not you? Why not you? What is the belief inside you that says everybody else but not me? I'm saying you have gifts even with all your challenges, especially because of your challenges. You were given a purpose on this earth. And if you don't know what it is, explore what it is. And if you do know what it is, keep nurturing what it is. Yesterday, I did something really special that I'm going to share with you in a meditation today. Because I have been going through my own healing. I always am. I'm evolving in real time. Last week, I spent majority of the weekend in a hospital where my dad was. And I went through a breakup and all sorts of things. and I was having a massive migraine coming from sea level back home, and then all the different issues of things I need to address, and it manifested in a migraine because I went into that old lack and limitation thinking. So I made a new choice, and I made a purchase that's going to help both of us. So we're going to get in touch with the power today. Your power, your internal power that you were born with. And maybe through this meditation, you can uncover the parts of you that have told yourself that you're not powerful, that you don't have purpose. Because that is what's going to make you sick, broke, and sad. So let's heal that. Thank you for being here. There's greatness in you. You deserve to figure out what it is and share it with the world. That's what I'm here to do, is to help you uncover your gifts and talents, to tap into your real authenticity so you can share that bravely with the world. Because I believe the more of us doing that, that is how we create peace on this planet. So thank you for being here and for taking time for yourself to invest in your greatness. I see you. Great things are in store for you. Don't give up. You got this, even this. The bigger trouble that you're in, the greater the triumph of your story. The greater the inspiration. We're not inspired by people who nothing ever happened, then he was a millionaire at the end. It's the hero's journey. What's your journey? Are you the hero of your own story? Because you can be. This is your sign. If you haven't been the hero of your own movie, today is the day, right now. Step into your purpose, step into your power, and the world will open up to you. I'm doing that more and more every day. I manifested this view. I manifested my daughter. I manifested a wonderful way to make a living in alignment with my gifts and talents and my authenticity. But it's not always easy. So we talk about being in a flow state. The flow state is when you're doing that and you get rid of all the muck telling you you can't. But the hard part is getting rid of all the muck that tell you you can't. Every day I have voices in me that say, I'm not good enough, you can't do that. Who do you think you are? I have little shit talkers in there. All the time. It's not that I'm without them. It's that I have an awareness of them. And I say, who is that talking? I call my shadow self Shadow Shaniqua. Because she gets a little spicy with me. And she has commentary about everything. So I'm like, all right, Shadow Shaniqua, I heard you. I'm going on with my life in this way. I'm opening up in this way. Regardless of the breakup. Especially because of the breakup. Regardless because of the diagnosis. Especially because of the diagnosis. Regardless of the money. Especially because of the money. What do you want to give? What do you want to focus on? What you focus on will grow. Whether it's lack or abundance is up to you. But I'm here to help you step into abundance if that's what you want. Because I see you and you're amazing. Thank you, thank you, thank you for being here. Let's do this. Solar Plexus Chakra. Manipura Chakra. And if you're wondering where that is, that's just above your belly button. And it's your core truth. It's your core personality. It's who you really are. Breathe that in and out. Today, I did something that I've wanted to do for years. For us. And I'm going to share it with you. To help us both come back into our own divine right power, where there's a beautiful balance between who and what you really are, and letting go of all that you are not, so that you can come into divine balance with your real power, Manipura, power. So sometimes you might exert too much power and authority out of fear, or sometimes you might give your power away. And if you have like stomach, digestion issues, queasy, cramping, bloating, that's your Manipura chakra. So we can focus on that today. So what I wanted to do that I have never done, and it's perfect divine right timing, is I bought a crystal singing bowl. And would you guess the one that they had? You guessed it, Solar Plexus Chakra. So I am just learning this. I've had a Tibetan singing bowl, but never a big crystal bowl. So I'm diving right in to what I really want to express and share with you today through the power of this vibration, and letting go of everything that's imperfect, this idea. And even as I was ringing it, all this stuff was coming up. And the minute I would try to do it perfect, I would mess up. And it's a real opportunity to let go of perfectionism and to fall in to the perfectly imperfect being that you are in your full power. It's also sunlight, it's yellow. So to bring in anything that has yellow on it. I have this new mala that has yellow string, the sunshine. So I hope that you enjoy this vibration, that you can get in touch with your power and heal the parts of you that have stepped out of your power or in fear come into too strong of an authority, and coming into that balance now of your solar plexus, the power of the sun, soul, of your soul. I had a migraine before I bought this today, and then I started doing it and my migraine is dissipating. It is absolutely healing. So I hope that you get some healing and power from this today. Thank you so much for being here. Let me know how this works for you, if it helps you to come into that sunlight essence of who and what you are. I wish you so much light. Not because there isn't darkness, we also can see the light in the darkness. So darkness can be celebrated too. So finding that wherever you are, whatever you're going through, it's all perfect divine right timing. You can be in your power. If you're sick, you can be in your power. If you're going through a breakup, you can be in your power when you're going through a massive transition. And if your body is speaking to you through, like bloating, upset stomach, like I said, cramping, that sort of thing, this is a chance. So here we go.